Oh my god, if Larian Studios is including this new lore in BG3, then truly exciting times are coming when the full game is released. Many major characters from the previous BG games now have the possibility of returning, based upon updates from D&D, which also includes a few retcons. Sarevok and Chev, following the events of BG2, his accomplishments brought him no joy, and he became a man haunted by his former life. The realization that no earthly achievements could ever compare to what he once almost had, immortality and godhood, has left him broken and empty. He plunged into despair, indulging in every vice imaginable, squandering his wealth and health on alcohol and drugs. Decades of abuse left him as an old man, begging in the streets of Baldur's Gate, until his father, Bhaal, found him. Bhaal recognized the potential in Sarevok and recruited him. Sarevok has new purpose, to become an agent of death and destruction. Irenicus and Bodhi have made a pact with the dark powers of the Shadowfell, meaning their spirits are trapped in the city of Suldanesselor, the elven city in the forest of DeVir, which is ruled by Queen Elisine. Their version of the elven city is always at night, and filled with the Lorroakan, a twisted race of elves that serve the Raven Queen of Shadowfell. While Irenicus and Bodhi are trapped, they still inflict misery on the elves of Suldanesselor with the help of their loyal followers. Valigar Corfala, the ranger from BG2, can be found in Candlekeep, and apparently he has been using potions of longevity to reduce his physical age to continue his hunt for evil wizards. San Moonblade, the elven blade singer, can be found in the library of Candlekeep. They are one of the blessed of Corellon, and change their gender often. Kaivan, the grim elven ranger. Originally Kaivan wanted to avenge the death of his wife, but since meeting his future husband, Cern, the druid of the Emerald Enclave, he no longer serves the Shadow Druids, and has joined the Emerald Enclave. Jaheira, the half-elf druid, is still with the Harpers. However, given her age, she is no longer an active Harper agent, but instead recruits those who she believes might help the Harper cause. Minsc and Boo were petrified and turned into a stone statue for almost a century. Currently he works for the Knights of Bahamut, an ancient order led by a half-elf named Suldil, who wishes to restore the order to its former glory. Montaron is now an assassin working for the Shadow Thieves. He previously worked for the Zentarum until he was killed and was brought back to life by his old necromancer friend Zar. Zar has now become a demi-lich. Zar's skull is kept in a bag of holding by Montaron. However, before becoming a lich, Zar has created a clone as a contingency against death. A clone usually remains inert until a soul reanimates the body, but the Slard Lord Sendam was able to animate the clone by using the power of the Chaos Phage. The animated clone has the base personality of Zar and his magical skills with necromancy, but is missing a soul. This makes the clone even more desperate and erratic than the original Zar. Immerwin, the godspawn, contaminated by the essence of Bhaal and being infected by the blood of a vampire, has slowed her aging process down. She's now a fusion of god, human, and vampire. Edwin, an evil human conjurer who was previously a member of the Red Wizards of Thay. Edwin now lives in the city of Baldur's Gate and is taking over Ramaziv's tower, using the name Lorroakan. Lorroakan formerly lived in the tower, but Edwin killed him. You might recall that Lorroakan is mentioned by Gale and Roland.
Yes, that Lorroakan, the greatest wizard in Baldur's Gate.
I've heard that name before. A young man, yes? Lives in Ramaz's tower in the upper city.
The very same.
Word in Waterdeep has it he's a bit of a cad. But you say he's an accomplished wizard.
Of course he is. The greatest spellcaster along the Sword Coast. As if I'd settle for a lesser mentor.
In that case, I'd very much appreciate it if you could arrange an introduction, should we reach the city.
As Edwin does not respect the intelligence of others, he spends most of his time talking with his simulacrum. Kagain the Scream Hunter, the dwarven mercenary, was attacked by Bhaal and spared on the condition that he became one of his devout followers. Given his love for killing, it was an easy choice to make. Viconia DeVir, in the service of Shah, travels the Underdark looking for fellow outcasts. She is a crew that includes 2 Driders named Cackle and Backle, as well as a deep spider pet. All this new lore can be found in the newly released D&D book, Minsc and Boo's Journal of Villainy, which of course goes into far more detail than I can cover here. If you are a fan of the Baldur's Gate series or play D&D, I highly recommend this book.